Oh, we're going to fight the powers that be. It's time for Wrestle AM. That's right, it's half wrestling show, half morning show, pretty much all BS. And you got your main man here, Boom Boom, here holding the fort down live, courtesy of Kocosports.com. Now, for those of you wondering where Dave Kokotis is, let me just inform you, Dave is absolutely fine. He spoke with him last night when we did the show last night. If you missed that, like and subscribe to us and check us out on Facebook, or not, well, Facebook too, but also YouTube. We did a show last night. We did an update on the Del Rio firing and a few other stories there. But he told me after that show that he was going to be out, and there was a 98% chance that I would be doing this by myself. So here I am. I'm going to try to hold down the fort, and Dave Kokotis has said. So everybody, please bear with me. Keep your questions and comments coming in just down here in the comment section. I guess the first question we immediately ask here is, did you think tonight's Raw was a win, loss, or a tie? So please put it down here in the comment section. Was tonight's Raw a win, a loss, or a tie, and particularly why? Let's see the headlines coming out of this one. Obviously, Brock Lesnar crashing Hulk Hogan's birthday bash. You knew it had to happen. Brie getting cuffed, and she's headed off to the Pokie. And then WWE actually made their pitch, their final pitch for SummerSlam coming up this weekend, live from Los Angeles, California. So, but let's get down and dirty with it, and let's break this bad boy down. And again, Internet Infantry, just bear with me. I'm going solo. Nobody else was available, so you got to have me all the time, and we're going to get through this thing. So let's just start out here with, it was Raw. It was live from Portland, Oregon. All right. Now, I've never been to Portland, but I wouldn't mind checking that place out. It started out with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman in the ring, giving good hype for this pay-per-view. Now, I should mention here, normally WWE, when it comes to the Raws before pay-per-view, that final sell, it's usually one of the most god-awful, boring Raws. They playing it safe is not even the word what they usually do. It's usually squash matches. Everything goes about no longer than about 3 minutes. It's a lot of vignettes, a lot of hype, and it's just kind of falls flat. I think WWE kind of did something different. They put everybody who needed to look strong, looked strong. Everybody who needed to have some kind of outs got the out, and they really didn't hype up the importance, and particularly they hoard out the WWE Network again, because in case you didn't know, it was $9.99. So with that, what I liked about the Heyman promo, he's talking about he's going to Brock Lesnar is going to give John Cena the beating of his life, and I like the fact that he did bring up their match at Extreme Rules back in 2012 when John Cena won, but he played that off. He said, you know what? Yeah, you won the match, but you lost the fight. He was sick. He was still suffering from the same condition that ended his UFC career, and he still gave you the beating of his life. Well, now what we're going to do is we're going to go in there 100%, and we're going to beat you and take your title. I mean, I thought it was just, it kind of drug on a little long, but I think he hit the high points, and it's like, okay, he's, sold me here that this is going to be an absolute fight. All right, so we're going to go in here and go to the first match. Again, they're trying to build up Roman Reigns. Corporate Kane came out. Now, I thought this was kind of funny because remember last week they tried to hype up everything. Because Kane took off his mask, this exact opposite, the monsters you're yours to control. Well, he couldn't get the job done to put Roman Reigns in his place. So instead, he handed over his mask to Stephanie, and I was thinking maybe they're going to do something, maybe a nod to his horror movie character in See No Evil, because they're about to start promoting that movie, and we're starting to not edit, but we're getting kind of close to Halloween time, and actually some stores, believe it or not, kids, have already got their Halloween stuff out. Wow, when the hell did this happen? Usually you complain because they get the Christmas stuff out too fast. I remember you never got the Christmas stuff out till like after Thanksgiving. Well, now it's right after Halloween, you've got the Christmas stuff in it. Now that's not even the case. I mean, right now it's August. They already got their Halloween stuff out. As soon as I think October gets here, they're going to start putting out the Christmas stuff. And if you want to know why, I think it's because merchandise-wise, Halloween outsells Christmas. But anyway, sorry, got off track, had a Kocosports moment. I apologize. You know, bad boom boom. We want to talk about the wrestling. So let's talk about the wrestling here. Corporate Kane, or Libertarian Kane, as we like to call him here at Kocosports. Roman Reigns, they set up a match for Roman Reigns versus Ryback on a handicap match. Now I did kind of like, the idea of stacking the deck against Roman Reigns, because you want to try to beat him up, soften him up for Randy Orton, which is a typical heel tactic. Okay, that makes complete and total sense. Let's do that. What I didn't like about this match was it didn't get Roman Reigns didn't get that massive win, which is what he needed to have. He needed to have that signature win where he got that just decisive win. Now, granted, he could hit one to the outside, spear the other one, get that win, but no, he wound up winning by disqualification. So because Ryback took him to the outside and kept throwing him in the ring post. Again, because it's a heel tactic, they want to rough him up, soften him up for Randy Orton. So so that makes complete total sense to me. All right, moving along here. Next, after that, we had the match that we were supposed to see last week. We actually saw tonight. That was Rob Van Dam versus Seth Rollins. Again, during last week, during the Beat the Clock Challenge, it was supposed to be Seth Rollins versus Rob Van Dam. Well, they pulled the switcheroo. They yanked out Van Dam, did the switcheroo, and put in Heath Slater in Rob Van Dam's place. Well, they kind of talked about it. They kind of revisited that, and so which kind of led to this match. This match was a good win for Rollins. He needed a win. I mean, he needed to look strong going into the Lumberjack match against Dean Ambrose. I kind of feel bad for Rob Van Dam because, he's coming back, and then, he's just kind of jobbing out, not very good. But overall, great match. Good back and forth. A lot of stuff to the outside. Some botches there, but nothing serious. Rollins got the win with the curb stomp, and just as he was going out, he kept sensing the presence of Dean Ambrose. I kind of don't like that when he went back up the ramp, there was all these presents there for Hulk Hogan's birthday bash. There was one big one in particular, and he was kind of poked around, looked around back, and then, okay, nothing's there. And then, boom, out comes Dean Ambrose. I personally would have loved it had he never saw it coming. He'd be... take two. Had he been leaving out, been walking out, holding up his briefcase, maybe turn around one more time to kind of taunt the crowd, and then have Ambrose come out completely unexpected. I mean, if you know what's going to happen, you get your photographer there, boom, just do a nice three-quarter shot, boom, he comes out, jumps Rollins. They could do everything they did, but I think that, having getting brain fart here. Seth Rollins kind of sense it, and then no, I'm just going crazy. It kind of made it stupid. So, but what do you think? So just let me know down here in the comments. Let's see what else we have here. And by the way, I should mention here that a lot of these matches went on pretty long, at least by WWE standards. You're talking. Normally, like I said, and I'm not joking, you have some matches that last anywhere from 60 seconds to 3 minutes tops. Well, they had some that were lasting 8 minutes and upwards, which for WWE is, especially on a Raw in a Raw before a pay-per-view, you don't really see all that often. So I just thought I'd like to bring that up. Let's see, what else here? Next came basically, and this is what some people jokingly called it. They jokingly called it WWE's Clara Lynch segment. Stephanie McMahon came out, so she had a confession to make. Had a little confession here, something. All right, I guess I'm back now, out of space. Okay, I'm back here. Apparently, I had a little bit of some trouble here with the internet. Sorry, working by myself, kids. Working without a net. It's live internet. Got to roll with it. So, thank everybody for sticking with me here. So, getting back into it here. I was talking about the Megan, the the physical therapist, and the alleged affair. Blah blah blah. Led to the slapping, slapping on the lock on Stephanie McMahon. I mean, I thought it was kind of cheesy, but it did come back into play, which I absolutely loved. So I think that was just the absolute best way to. Well, I think the best thing for it. And plus, they didn't do this at the end of the match. So hang in there, guys. Let's see. Sorry, I'm going like a mile a minute here. Okay, next here we had Jack Swagger versus Cesaro. Of course, the former Real Americans going at it one-on-one. This match, man, went like 12 minutes. I like this here. It's good for Swagger. Now, if there's somebody who's turned his career around in 2014, it's Jack Swagger. Hooked up with the, Zeb Coulter, started getting some traction, then got fucking stupid, paid his penance, got the Real Americans started. That split up. Cesaro went on to obviously wrestle at a higher level. Well, he was still going nowhere. Then they turned him face in a perfect face turn against Rusev, and now he's playing this underdog, and now he's wrestling with hurt ribs. A lot of suplexes, gut wrench suplexes, deadlifts. I mean, it was just an absolutely amazing wrestling match. The end came when Cesaro went to the top. Swagger caught him, pancaked him flat on the mat, and locked on the Patriot lock. Cesaro tapped. Great for Swagger. Great build up for him in this match against Rusev. I think it's an absolutely great build up here. I think that they're finally pushing him the way he should be pushed. And Cesaro, now some people are saying, well, he's being buried. No, just because somebody's losing does not mean that they're, buried. So I want everybody just to kind of bear with this storyline here. Let's see, the other thing coming out of this is as soon as the match was over, he's waving around Old Glory. Boom! Out comes Rusev's music. The Russian flag drops down. They start jawing back and forth. They kind of save the fight here, which I think is absolutely, which I think is a pretty good build-up. I think this is actually going to be an interesting match to watch at SummerSlam. I think it's going to be one of the most underrated one. Again, get back to Cesaro. I don't think his career is going to be hurt because of this. I mean, yeah, he lost to John Cena. Yeah, now he's lost to his former tag team partner. But I still think Cesaro's best days are still ahead of him. I think before the year's out, he might actually go square up one-on-one with Brock Lesnar and turn face. Just call me crazy. Actually, you can call me that anyway. But no, I could see that happening. He's a great talent. He deserves to be up on top. Just right now, it's just not his month. I mean, there's certain people on the card that they need to look strong going into matches. They needed somebody in the ring that they can trust. So I would definitely go with, Cesaro's definitely a go-to person. Next year, you had the sit-down between Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho. I really don't want to get into this. I mean, it just kind of nice back and forth. Well, not really a back and forth, just Bray Wyatt just completely laying it on Jericho about his dreams and what he pretends to be and how he doesn't pretend to be anything. He hates the world. Actually sounded like an angst-ridden 14-year-old girl, but let's not get into that. And then Jericho just said he was going to follow the buzzards and knock him right down Bray Wyatt's throat. So, and try to leave him speechless. So, great interview. Moving along. Next here, we had the Divas match. Now, this was short, but I think this actually worked because it was short. You had AJ Lee taking on Eva Marie, and this was a non-title match, by the way. As soon as the match started, you had Paige come out. Paige provides the distraction. Eva Marie gets the schoolgirl on AJ, gets the wind. Then after that, Paige does a little poem. My personal favorite was "Roses are red, wood chips are beige." I'm sorry I threw you off that stage. Not since Snitsky have we seen like Hemingway-esque poetry. I know Hemingway wasn't a poet, kiss my ass. But I just thought it was I thought it was great, and this is one of the matches I'm actually looking forward to seeing at SummerSlam. AJ Lee versus Paige. This is exactly everything that I want out of a Divas feud. Yeah, these girls are hot. They really are cute, and they can wrestle. They've got me interested. A title's on the line, and they're going to give them some time. If you've seen the spoiler, well, not really spoilers, but the time frame. I mean, the shortest match on SummerSlam is getting anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes. So 10 to 12 minutes of these two, I think I'd really like to see, and to see what these two can actually do and let them cut loose. Paige obviously a little bit more comfortable in the heel role. AJ Lee can play either side of the fence, so why not have her play face? Really, really just again, I'm really looking forward to this. And then after she lost, she went a little crazy and beat the crap out of Eva Marie, who for some reason fell down at ringside and was like hurt for some reason. Remember, she won the match. Paige, she slides out of the ring as Paige is doing that little thing, and then for some unknown reason, she's down on the outside of the ring area. It's like, my ankle is sore, and then AJ Lee beats the crap out of her, skips around the ring. Apparently she did a Bo Dallas victory lap. Next, Cena's rebuttal. To me, it was a little off track. He tried to go hardcore, tried to call him a punk ass bitch, call Lesnar a punk ass bitch, talking about, he's just a part timer. And, I've been all over the place. To me, I just think it just kind of, it didn't exactly work. It wasn't his worst thing that he's ever done. I mean, it was good at least for Cena. Not perfect, but I think I could have expected just a little bit more out of him. Whew, absolutely, guys. We are zipping through this bad boy here. Next, it was supposed to be Stephanie McMahon versus Brie Bella, but as soon as Brie Bella was in the ring, Stephanie McMahon came out and said, "Oh, by the way, the personal therapist or the physical therapist, Megan, she's decided to press charges, so turnabout is fair play." The same thing that Brie did to Stephanie did to Brie, got her cuffed and had her hauled to jail, and said if she can make bail, I'll see you at SummerSlam, which now I kind of excuse what happened earlier, because if it's just, we're going to go with this lame-ass angle of, your husband allegedly had an affair. I mean, I know this has been done before. Yes, I know I mentioned the Claire Lynch storyline, but going back to the 90s, this is back when Ricky Steamboat was feuding with, I believe it was Rick Rude back in WCW back in the early 90s. There was an angle where he had allegedly that Ricky Steamboat had an affair, so I forgot, it was like his manager, Rick Rude's manager, it wasn't Paul Heyman, it was somebody else, but brought out all these women. Oh yeah, I had an affair. Oh, you had an affair? I had an affair with them too. It was so hokey, but I like this. It kind of puts some. I think they kind of shine some reality on this, because if we saw this, me or some other smartass on the internet, particularly probably me, going, well, you know what? If Brie Bella can have Stephanie arrested for slapping her, then how come, that trainer chick didn't have Brie Bella arrested for slapping her? Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, okay. Well, props to WWE for covering your bases, for thinking that one through. So I'm proud of you, WWE. I really am. Thank you for thinking that through. Next year, we had Dolph Ziggler versus Heath Slater. Miz at the, standing on the announce table in his little penny loafers, with the Intercontinental title, hyping up this match. Sorry guys, but forget Bo Dallas for right now. Heath Slater is the one with the streak right now. He's got, I think this is his 5th victory in a row. Not bad. The little boy from West Virginia, is making a little bit of a comeback. So I think that's worth noting right there. Not a bad match either. Anyway, Ziggler interfered just when you thought, Miz interfered just when you thought Ziggler was going to get the win with the zigzag. He chased Miz to the outside, threw him into the security railing, picked him back up. These two started battling a little bit more. Referee started counting to 10. Ziggler did not beat the 10 count. Heath Slater got the win. Ziggler went in there to shake Slater's hand. Slater tried to, surprise him with a kick to the gut. Ziggler caught it, spun him around, hit the zigzag, and so Ziggler doesn't look like a complete total fuck move, going into SummerSlam. I don't know how they're going to do this one. We're going to have to do. It's going to be a tough one to pick when we do pay-per-view profits, by the way, which is coming later this week, kids. So start thinking about who you want to pick. I don't know what the hell's happened to WWE. They've decided to push Heath Slater. Him and Titus O'Neil form somewhat of a tag team, and they're getting some wins on shows like Main Event and SmackDown. But Slater now, two Raws in a row. Wow, this is a fucking streak. Trust me, this is a big deal. And plus, Dolph Ziggler went from glorified jobber to now Intercontinental title contender. Well, we can get him back up to the heavyweight title scene. Just saying. So I think this show kind of stole the spotlight for the night. Then next we had Sheamus versus Randy Orton. I'm going to be honest, kids. I really did not watch this match. Orton, of course, wins the match over the United States champion. This was a non-title match, by the way, to hype up everything. And basically just says he's ready for Reigns. So I understand that you have to make Orton look good, have to make it look like a threat, because here's, Roman Reigns, who takes on two men at once, wins by disqualification because they start roughing him up, throwing him into the ring post, and then you have Orton get a solid win over a crowned champion. You want to have him make him. I understand that, but I kind of wish you wouldn't do that with the U.S. title. Look, either you need to consolidate it with the Intercontinental title and move on, or basically just do away with the titles altogether, because you're not doing them any favors. Let's see. Next here we had Hulk Hogan's birthday bash. Apparently he is 61 years young. They brought him out to Bob Dylan. Well, Bob Dylan's Forever Young play with the recap of his career. They had the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Mean Gene Okerlund. They brought out, they brought out God and everybody with that. They brought out, Pat Patterson was up there on the stage. All the talent was out there on the stage. They brought out Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, Ric Flair. They brought out Roddy Piper. They brought out Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. And then you had the interruption by Brock Lesnar, staring down everybody, kind of pushing around the legends. Then out comes Cena to make the save. And then, a little bit of a stare down, you have Paul Heyman trying to talk Lesnar out of the fight, because he needs, hey, you don't want to fight for free, and that makes total sense. At least it fits with his character. And, don't do this. Don't fight for free. Save it for SummerSlam. Don't give him any kind of advantage. Don't give him any kind of edge. Both Heyman and Lesnar exited the ring and left rolling credits, and here we are now. We're officially on the road to SummerSlam, and I'm going to put a little bit more on pressure on SummerSlam to be a good pay-per-view than normally I would, because remember, we got a shit pay-per-view last month. We got Battleground, which was fucking horrible. In fact, Dave and I called it the pre-show to SummerSlam's pre-show, because they were like, okay, we're just going to have to do this to fulfill our obligation for a monthly pay-per-view. But the really good stuff is coming next month at SummerSlam. It's good. It's going to happen in August. Well, it's going to be here, and from what I understand, the way it was put, at least out on the interwebs, was that they had all the endings, I think like 75% of the endings were booked. They knew where they were going, and they were booking backwards, which is the way I think you should do, which is the way I think you should book. Have your major points and find out what your end result needs to be, and then work your way backwards to get basically start at Z and go back to A, so that way when you get from A to Z, it makes sense going in between. WWE, let's just frankly, since the last pay-per-view, really hasn't been good. This one, I'm going to give this week's Raw a win. They pushed everybody that needed to be pushed. They had, Roman Reigns still looked like $1 million, which you need to. He's the next golden boy. I like the Rob Van Dam Seth Rollins match. Let's see, the Jack Swagger Cesaro, which I didn't think I would like it, but I did. So that was definitely a good one. Uh, AJ Lee and Eva Marie, not so much, but it advanced the storyline, so I'll give that a pass. Stephanie McMahon, Brie Bella, that advanced the storyline. That served a purpose. So normally I would shit on it, with the personal trainer, with Megan. Oh, we've been friends, but in these personal sessions, we've been having an affair. I was like, oh, well, whatever. But it led to something bigger and better. It continued the storyline. It fit in the universe. It fit in the continuity of the storyline. It made sense. So I'll give that a pass. Dolph Ziggler versus Heath Slater. Again, that forwarded a feud. And plus, this match is actually, it doesn't sound good on paper, but in practice it was actually better. Usually it's just the opposite with WWE. You get things that, sound good on paper, but when they put them in a WWE ring, it doesn't quite work out. This was actually quite the opposite. If somebody would have told me a month ago, Heath Slater versus Dolph Ziggler, I would have yawned. But when I'm watching it tonight, okay, it's worth a watch. Sheamus versus Randy Orton, it was exactly what you think it would be. The birthday bash, it was kind of cool to see, the whole little the recap of Hulk Hogan's career and see some of the old guys there in the ring, especially Paul Orndorff with that fucking epic mustache. Completely put Zeb Coulter's mustache to shame. That's how fucking epic it is. I mean, this is like Tom Selleck stash on steroids. That's how epic that stash is. And again, they're still whoring out WWE Network, but I'll tell you what, it's worth checking out. If you have not watched this show and you want to check things that you're thinking, well, shit, and after watching this review, yeah, the whole show's worth a watch. You got to skip through the commercials, skip through a few talking segments, but otherwise, I think you'll enjoy it, which is actually kind of surprising because WWE puts out one of the most inconsistent products, thus why their whole fucking company is in a goddamn tailspin right now. It's because people don't want to shell out money for something that's inconsistent. Yeah, it's good, tonight, but is it going to be good, a week from now? Is this pay-per-view going to be good? Only time's going to tell, and we're going to be the judges of that. So, let's see. All right, kids. I've been putting off stuff long enough, so let me know what you think, win, loss, or tie. What did you think about the show? Put your questions, put your comments down here. If not, and if you got questions for Dave, feel free to put them in here. Dave and I will try to cover it on Stump the Idiot. Let's see here. Let's just go to the live comments. Mr. the King, RFW, he says, I don't like how Heath Slater is getting an embarrassing victory and then goes for the cheap shot after the crowd went crazy for him. I understand where you're coming from on that one. It wasn't an embarrassing victory. I mean, if you've been looking, I mean, he got an embarrassing victory last week over Seth Rollins. Remember, he got distracted by Dean Ambrose when he started fucking with his briefcase, and he got the roll-up win. Like I said, he's been getting some wins with Titus O'Neil, Slater Gator, whatever they call their tag team, on some of the B shows. So, yeah, he's been getting some wins. And you know what? I would honestly take him if I'm Heath Slater because he needs to rebuild. Since they kept him, they're obviously going to do something with him. And so, have him not be a fucking joke. Have him get some wins. I mean, granted, they need to start out small and build up. And plus, the whole focus is on the Intercontinental title. They want to promote it to where, there's the Miz. He's the cocky champion. He doesn't want his face touched because that's his money maker. And so he's running around playing hide and seek with Ziggler. Ziggler can't wait to get his hands on him. In fact, it cost him a match because he finally got his hands on Miz, but he missed the referee's 10 count. He tried, and he went for the cheap shot because he's a bad guy. He's still a heel. And, WWE doesn't really care about how the fans react to him. Just saying. Not saying you're wrong for wanting to cheer him. I mean, hell, I was kind of pulling for him, too. But, he's trying to reestablish the fact that, yeah, I'm a serious bad guy. So that's why he did that. In fact, Mr. The King, RFW, gives it a tie. Let's see. Mike Ashman. He says, oh, he gives it a loss. Okay, Mr. Ashman gives it a loss. He says, I felt that WWE is starting to lose the direction, or I might be a little too negative on the WWE product. This is the go-home show for SummerSlam and Hulk Hogan birthday / network plug special overall. I felt that the show fell flat. Okay. Dixie damn near killed herself on the last TNA Impact show, and New Japan G1 Climax finale was so pro-brilliance. Do you feel WWE protected a lot of these feuds and kept these confrontations dialed back to sell viewers into getting the network for SummerSlam. Okay, I'm going to disagree with you on the fact that it fell flat. I don't think it fell flat. I think it was they. No, normally these go-home shows are absolutely bullshit, but everything for the most part served a purpose. And it was, we're not going to, certain people did not get their hands on each other. You want to see them just reach out. I mean, you want to see, Roman Reigns reach out and strangle Randy Orton. You want to see Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt tied up mano a mano without outside interference. You want to see Paige and AJ Lee get in there. You want to see Jack Swagger defend the United States' honor against Rusev. You want to see that, and I think that's the whole point. Dixie going through a table, you know what? She can try to kill herself all she wants. It's not going to make the ratings tick up. I mean, you can sit there. I mean, dude, Dixie Carter can go in the ring topless on a unicycle, juggling dildos while covering herself in cocoa butter, singing "Clang Clang" with the trolley. But you know what? It's not going to make a lick of difference. You got to have compelling storylines. You can put a lipstick on a pig all you want, but it's still going to be a pig. You got to have some substance. You got to have some style. It's like, think of like your favorite restaurant. Sometimes our favorite restaurants are these dive bars or these little dive places, hole in the walls. But it's like, why do you go there? Well, the food's really good. Yeah, but man, this place looks like it hasn't been updated since like the 1980s. Yeah, I know, but the food's really good. Same thing with wrestling. You can have poor production values, but still have a cult following because you've got good storylines that people are interested in seeing. Hey, ECW did that. All right. In the G1 Climax, I'm going to have to actually watch that. I know I've been told it's really good. I know. Bad Boom Boom. Bad Boom Boom. I haven't watched the G1 Climax finale. I'm going to have to go watch that. So, and do I feel WWE protected a lot of these feuds and kept them dialed back? Yes, I think they absolutely did it because they're trying to say, we've got this big pay-per-view coming up. You got all these people that they're going to get their hands on each other. Brie Bella, if she's out of jail, and you're thinking, you know what, if I was Brie Bella, I would just beat the shit out of Stephanie McMahon. I would break her arm. I'd just break her jaw. And, she's, now she's playing, bringing her husband into it. It's all complete, yeah. And it's like, yeah, and you can watch all that plus the flag match, plus the Divas title match, plus Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton, all for $10. I mean, that's the whole point. And they need to, and they got to keep people hooked. They got to get more people to subscribe, and they got to get those people who've already subscribed to renew those subscriptions. So, believe me, and this is nothing new. Dave Kocotas and I, actually Dave Kocotas, I'm not going to take credit for it. Okay, Dave, I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to take credit for it. He said September will be interesting because September will be the last month that WWE has to persuade those people who bought the WWE Network way back in April. Their 6-month obligation's coming up. They're going to want them to renew their subscriptions for another 6 months. So there you go. And speaking of that, it's going live in 150, 170 countries, not including you, UK. You don't get it till October. So I want to ask my friends there across the pond there in the UK, are you going to subscribe to it? Why or why not? Just let me know. All right, let's see here. I'm running out of comments here, but if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe, yeah, but if you got any more questions, be sure to ask them. Do it now or forever hold your peace. Overall, like I said, I'm going to give it a win. Let's see, coming up a little bit later this week, let's see, Dave is undoubtedly going to do the main event review. The Usos have issued an open challenge, so Dave is definitely going to bite on that one. And then Dave will go batshit crazy for the rest of the week. He'll review NXT. He's going to review Impact. He's going to review SmackDown. We're going to do pay-per-view profits. I'm pretty sure if some kids in Poughkeepsie, Illinois, are wrestling on a trampoline out in somebody's backyard, Dave's going to fucking do a review of that show. If there's like 6 people who show up at a dojo in Japan and there's some kind of like competition there, Dave's going to review it. So, and then when it's all done, he's going to do the weekend review. So we got a lot of stuff going on here on Kocosports.com. We got a question here from Lacey Walters. Oh yeah, got to look good for the ladies. She says, "What did you think of the return of the NWO?" No, I liked it. I thought it was kind of curious when Brock Lesnar got in the ring right there with Hogan and all the legends. I'm thinking, not all those guys are really, I think a lot of those guys can't really go that hardcore anymore. But I'm pretty sure if you got all of them on Lesnar, they could whoop his ass, or at least make him bleed. But it was good to see him back. It was good to see Hulk Hogan in the NWO shirt. It was a great trip. It was a good nostalgia bomb. So that's what I thought about it, Lacey. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. Any more questions? Any more comments? I'm about to do the cutoff, so I'll give it a couple of more minutes here, and then we're going to pull the plug on this. He says, "Where are the Wyatts?" That's Mr. the King. Apparently, they just weren't booked on this show. Jericho has got it to where he's going to go one-on-one. He's beaten both Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, so they're going to be barred from ringside. So it'll be one-on-one, Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho. I think one thing that should be noted tonight, one thing that we didn't see, is something that was that got my attention. Is notice how we didn't see this little Angry Man faction, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E Langston. It's been rumored that they went ahead and dropped this, and there's some people who were complaining about it. I wanted to complain about it for a moment, but I was like, you know what? I even said that, it makes me nervous. I don't like racially charged storylines. Now, somebody fired back, and they made a great point. They said, well, who's to say that you can't get a bunch of white heels together and basically compare them to the KKK? And I was like, I understand what you're trying to say. It's just I just don't want to do a Nation of Domination rehash and have people boo them because they're black. Because, face it, this country, at least over here in the United States, we've got a very sketchy past as far as race relation goes. And anything that takes us back in time to that period, I don't think anybody wants to go back to. Nobody wants to revisit that. Nobody wants to be remotely reminded about that. Everybody wants to move on from that time and move forward. And anything I feel like, kind of pushes us backwards is just very uncomfortable. And if you're going to boo somebody, boo Brock Lesnar because he's a jackass. Boo Randy Orton because he's an asshole. Boo all these people, boo Ryback because there's these big dumb idiots. But don't boo somebody, well, they're black. Boo angry black people, boo, no, not down with that. That's just not cool. And it was only like a 2-week storyline, and very small at that, so if it was going to be this big racially charged storyline that ultimately had no path, no goal, I'm glad they pulled the plug on it now before it could do any damage to anybody's career. Big E wound up wrestling as a babyface on SmackDown. I think Kofi wrestled like on one of the B shows. Xavier Woods, I don't know what the hell he's doing. They've probably maybe thrown him back to NXT. I have no idea what the hell is going on, and that's not a good thing. But I'm kind of glad that they dropped that. Let's see, Fran, you should do the show with the trio. Rob is great at what he does. Well, if he was online, then, sir, he would be here. But nobody was online but me, and boo. All right, let's see here. Rihanna Jackson. I knew King was going to be Corporate King again after last week's Raw until you guys made me think he was going to take a break, which I wanted. I guess I should have listened to my initiation. Oh, you mean your instincts? Yeah. Well, Rihanna, we weren't trying to push you. We were thinking maybe he's going to go bye-bye. Then there was another theory that maybe he's going to do his character, kind of change around to his character from See No Evil, which they're promoting the sequel to. That's what we thought. So, hey, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. So, there's a saying where I come from. Say, hey, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then. Let's see here. No, I think that's going to do it. I think I've answered all the questions. I'll do another look here. Going once, going twice, and sold. All right, kids, that's going to wrap up for this edition of Wrestle AM. Of course, Dave and I will be back later this week to do pay-per-view profits. I highly encourage you to participate. We're going to come up with some tiebreakers. We're going to make it a lot of fun. We said we were going to make 2014 a fun year for pro wrestling, at least pro wrestling fans, and I think we've done that thus far. So be sure to check us out here. In the meantime, We're available 24 hours a day on Kocosports.com. That's KOCOsports.com. Your home for all combat sports. That includes boxing, mixed martial arts, pro wrestling, amateur wrestling, sumo wrestling, kickboxing, taekwondo, judo. If you can get your nose broke doing it, we got it covered there on the site. You can always check it out there along with our news and gossip section. Coco's Corner there, Dave Kokotis' personal blog, along with our video on demand section. So be sure to check it out at Kocosports.com. It's where the world goes to kick ass. Well, this is Boom Boom, and for my broadcast colleague Dave Kokotis, I am over.